Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask Alice. Today the question is there an author that I read and wasn't really fond of, but then grew to like? And so my answer is yes, actually, there is. And the author in question is Leigh Bardugo. The reason being is I picked up Six of Crows as her first book and my first introduction to her writing style and her world and that. And I really didn't like Six of Crows. I found now, I will be honest and say I read Six of Crows as probably like my fourth or fifth book coming back into reading after not reading for 10 years and starting to read more YA fantasy while starting to write my YA fantasy book. And I will say that having read as many books as I have, I love multiple point of views, but when you get more than 3 or 4, I do not love them. I love multiple POVs, but it stops at 3 to 4. 4 is kind of like my max before it starts to irk me. And on top of that, I found that I prefer third person over first person. That's why I write in third person. I know a lot of YA is in first person because people want to feel they are the character from the story, but I like being told the story by somebody. So I think this is why I like third person so much more. And so I read Leigh Bardugo's book, Six of Crows. I didn't really like it. I kind of only liked 2 of the 6 main characters in it, and then when one of them died in the second book, I celebrated because I really hated that character. They were my least favorite of the 6, and I was really happy when they died. And then I picked up Shadow and Bone by Leigh, and I loved Shadow and Bone. It's third person, and you know, it's more of an adventure and that, and I really liked Shadow and Bone. So I'm hoping to eventually pick up King of Scars and that with Nikolai and everything. But yeah, I didn't like Six of Crows, but I really loved Shadow and Bone. So it goes to show you that just because you don't like one series by a particular author or one book by a particular author, you can't just write them off. And it did teach me a lesson about that. So going forward, I think if I don't love an author's book 1, unless it's horrendous, like I didn't like Six of Crows, but I could appreciate why other people did, and I could see where it was going, and I enjoyed the world building. But I also think if I had read Shadow and Bone first, I probably would have liked Six of Crows better because it was my introduction to the entire world. And the Krishna were a little more confusing when you didn't have Shadow and Bone information when you went into it, I think. So for me, would have been better if I'd switched the order. But that's beside the point. So unless I read an author and I absolutely hate their work, and I know there's nothing salvageable in their writing style for me, then I will say, after 1, but otherwise I've learned that I should give a second book a try by an author, but from a different series probably. So if I don't love book 1, just try a different series from them and see if that one fits better for me. And if not, then it's just going to have to be a thank you so much, but not for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. All of us have authors or writing styles and that are just not for us. And I feel like we need to be more willing to accept that as authors and as readers, and just be okay with it, because really it's all right if you don't love a book. I always say that. It's okay if you don't love a book. It's fine. Don't fret. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.